Welcome back to the BWISE Poly Sports Podcast, where we cut through the noise and get to the heart of how race, gender, politics, economics, and culture shape the world of black women in sports. This isn't just commentary. It's a lens, a framework, and a reminder that the games we watch are not neutral. They are stages where power, identity, and legacy collide. And here at BWISE, we put black women front and center because their stories are too often left in the margins. Over the past few episodes, we've unpacked the politics of culture, the economics of the game, the realities of fandom, and the entrepreneurial spirit that black women athletes carry both on and off the court. Each episode has been a piece of a larger puzzle, showing us how black women don't just participate in sports, they redefine them. And today, we take that puzzle one step further. This episode is called Coaching for the Future. Black women as architects of the culture. Because leadership isn't just about playbooks, strategies, or calling time out. It's about building blueprints for the future. It's about shaping how teams are structured, how talent is developed, and how culture is defined in every arena, from locker rooms to boardrooms. Leadership is culture. But here's the painful truth. While black women are cultural architects, the system often erases their presence in the very spaces they help create. Their knowledge, their experience, their innovation, too often undervalued or ignored when it comes to coaching hiring, executive positions, or leadership roles. And when that erasure happens, the culture itself is distorted. So the guiding question for this episode is this: what happens when the architects of culture are erased from the very system they help build? What happens to the game when the pipeline of leadership doesn't reflect the talent, brilliance, or resilience of the women who shaped it? And we don't have to look far to see this crisis unfolding. On September 21st, 2025, the WNBA made headlines not for what happened on the court, but for what happened off of it. Noelle Quinn, the last black female head coach in the league, was fired. In that moment, the WNBA entered uncharted territory, a league dominated by black women players, but with 0 black women head coaches. That gap speaks volumes. So today, we're going to dive into what this erasure means, not just for the WNBA, but for the future of sports leadership as a whole. We'll talk about the trailblazers who broke through, the systemic barriers that persist, and the rising generation of coaches and executives ready to take their place. This is about visibility, opportunity, and ownership of culture. Because leadership isn't just a position, it's a power structure. And black women deserve a seat at the head of the table. To understand where we are today, we have to honor those who built the foundation. Black women in coaching have been cultural architects long before the conversation caught up with them. They weren't just coaching games. They were shaping mindset, opening doors, and redefining what leadership looks like in a space that often resists their presence. Take Dawn Staley, for example. At South Carolina, she didn't just build a powerhouse program, she built a dynasty rooted in discipline, culture, and pride. Her national titles, Olympic gold medals, and U.S. basketball leadership proves that her influence stretches beyond one campus. Staley's impact is as much about the women she's mentored as the trophies she's lifted. Her fashion, her voice, and her voice on social justice, her visibility in media, she has turned coaching into cultural leadership. Before Staley, there was Vivian Stringer, a legend who carved her name into history with decades of wins at Cheney State, Iowa, and Rutgers. She became the first coach, men or women, to take 3 different programs to the Final Four. But her legacy isn't just about wins, it's the representation. Stringer stood as proof that black women belonged at the highest levels of coaching, even when doors were closed and opportunities scarce. And then there are names like Pokey Chatman and Teresa Weatherspoon, both of whom have left fingerprints across professional basketball. Chatman coaching stints in the WNBA and abroad expand the global reach of women's basketball. Weatherspoon, with her undeniable energy and leadership, turned assistant roles into platforms of visibility, influencing not just her players, but the very culture of organizations she serves. We also can't forget about trailblazing impact of Cheryl Miller. Though often remembered as a transcendent player, Miller also carved out a space as a coach and broadcaster, proving that black women could carry authority, credibility, and influence beyond the hardwood. Her very presence in the late 80s and 90s helped legitimize women's basketball at a time when it was still fighting for respect. What ties all these women together is their dual role, leaders on the sidelines and cultural shapers off of it. They mentor players beyond the game, challenge narratives in the media, and build personal brands that extend their reach. They demonstrate that coaching isn't just about X and O's, it's about developing human beings, setting cultural standards, and shifting how sport is seen by the world. And now, a new generation is carrying that torch. From up-and-coming college coaches at HBCUs to those leading AAU programs, black women continue to build the pipeline for the future. They're creating environments where young athletes not only compete, but also learn the value of identity, resilience, and representation. These pioneers, past and present, show us that coaching is never just a job. It's a form of cultural authorship. If the pioneers built the foundation, then we have to ask, why are we watching that foundation being ignored, even dismantled in real time? The truth is, black women face some of the most entrenched barriers in coaching and leadership across every level of sport. The firing of Noelle Quinn didn't happen in a vacuum. It was part of a broader pattern of exclusion that reveals just how fragile progress can be when the system is designed to keep power out of reach. Look at the WNBA, a league dominated by black women athletes on the court, yet as of September 2026, not a single black woman stands as a head coach or top executive. That absence is not coincidental. It's the result of systemic gatekeeping, where decisions about leadership are filtered through networks that privilege whiteness and male authority. It's a contradiction at the heart of the league. The culture is carried by black women, but the leadership is not. Same barriers echo through college sports. Black women make up a significant percentage of athletes in basketball and track, yet when it comes time to hire head coaches or athletic directors, suddenly the pipeline dries up. Search committees, booster influence, and institutional bias means that opportunities are funneled to white men and increasingly to white women, while black women remain on the margins. The glass ceiling in these spaces is not invisible, it's reinforced with steel. Even at the youth level, AAU, high school, and grassroots programs, black women coaches face structural challenges, whether it's limited funding, lack of access to facilities, or being passed over for showcase opportunities. The roadblocks start early. These barriers don't just silence coaching talent, they also cut off future pathways to leadership by keeping black women out of the very systems that feed the college and professional pipeline. And then there's the bias baked into hiring itself. Too often, black women are evaluated with a different set of standards, questioned for their authority, stereotyped as too aggressive or not professional enough, while white counterparts often framed as passionate leaders or innovative thinkers. That double standard ensures that black women must not only be twice as good, but also fight a constant burden of disproving false narratives. The cost of exclusion is deep. When black women are absent from leadership, players lose access to mentors who reflect their own identity. Team culture becomes less inclusive, less connected to the communities that support sport. And organizations themselves suffer, losing out on diverse perspectives, cultural insights, and the kind of leadership that builds trust and resilience. Erasing black women from leadership erodes the integrity of the game itself. So, when we ask why representation matters, the answer is clear. Because leadership without black women is incomplete. It's a distortion of reality. It denies the very athletes who define the game a chance to be coached, guided, and developed by leaders who understand their journey. The barriers aren't just professional. They are cultural, generational, and systemic. And unless they're dismantled, the future of sports leadership will remain fundamentally unbalanced. When systems are built to keep you out, survival alone becomes an act of disruption. But black women in sports haven't stopped at survival. They're redefining the rules of leadership itself. By refusing to conform to the narrow hierarchies of sports, they've created new blueprints that center innovation, culture, and authenticity over tradition and gatekeeping. Their leadership is not about fitting in. It's about reshaping the system from the inside out. One way this disruption shows up is in coaching styles that go beyond X's and O's. Black women coaches often bring a holistic approach, valuing players not just as athletes, but as full people. They incorporate cultural pride, mental health awareness, and community accountability into team culture. That approach disrupts the transactional model of sports, where players are often treated as commodities, and instead creates an environment of trust, growth, and resilience. Disruption also happens through new economies of influence. In the NIL era, black women coaches and mentors are helping athletes, particularly young black women, navigate branding, sponsorship, and the business side of the game. By teaching athletes to leverage their voices and images, these leaders are asserting authority that extends far beyond the court. It's a way of saying, we will not only play the game, we will own our image within it. Take the example of coaches like Dawn Staley, who has leveraged media visibility and fashion to expand her platform, or executives who are reshaping grassroots initiatives, building programs that connect sports to education, activism, and financial literacy. These are not just coaching decisions, they are cultural strategies that redefine how power moves through sports. Black women executives are also asserting influence in league and team operations, from player relations to community partnerships. They're pushing policies that reflect realities of athletes who actually make the sport thrive. They challenge old hierarchies by insisting that athletes deserve a voice in the decisions that affect their careers. That shift disrupts the long-standing model where executives dictate and players follow. At the grassroots level, disruption looks like black women creating their own spaces. From AAU programs to independent training academies, they're building institutions that bypass traditional gatekeepers. These programs don't just develop talent, they also affirm identity, instill cultural pride, and build pipelines that mainstream sports organizations can no longer ignore. What's powerful here is that disruption isn't loud for the sake of noise. It's intentional. It's strategic. It shows that leadership doesn't have to mimic the old structures to be effective. By leveraging NIL, media, and community connections, black women leaders are modeling a new kind of authority, one rooted in authenticity and culture. In doing so, they're not just challenging power structures, they're rewriting them. If culture is carried forward, then the next question becomes, who is preparing the next generation to lead? For Black women coaches and executives, the answer lies in mentorship. Their work is not just about the present moment, it's about feeding futures. They understand that every practice, every lesson, every relationship is a building block in a larger structure of leadership. One of the most powerful ways this shows up is through developing players as leaders in their own right. Black women coaches don't just teach the game, they teach life skills. They prepare athletes to navigate media, manage finances, and step into entrepreneurial opportunities. In the NIL era, that mentorship has become even more vital, helping athletes see themselves not just as players, but as brands, business women, and cultural influencers. Much of this groundwork starts long before college or the pros, in AAU circuits, youth programs, and grassroots leagues. Black women are building leadership pipelines. These are spaces where young athletes first encounter what it means to be coached by someone who looks like them, who speaks their language, who understands their journey. That representation alone can be transformative, shaping confidence, identity, and possibility. Some Black women have even created coaching academies and mentorship networks designed to train not just players, but future coaches. By investing in the pipeline itself, they're ensuring that leadership doesn't stop with their generation. It's a form of succession planning rooted in culture, making sure the next wave of coaches is ready to step into positions of influence and authority. This kind of leadership goes beyond basketball. It equips young women to lead in boardrooms, classrooms, and community spaces. By showing athletes that their voice matters, Black women coaches are planting seeds of systemic change. A player who learns to lead on the court carries that leadership into every area of life. That ripple effect is how culture evolves. What makes this work especially important is that it resists the erasure we discussed earlier. By building new systems, AAU teams, nonprofit organizations, academies, Black women ensure that their influence cannot be erased by a leave, firing, or an institutional hiring bias. They are creating parallel structures where their impact is undeniable and where the next generation can thrive. In the end, building the next generation is more than about wins and losses. It's about cultivating visionaries, leaders, and change makers who will carry the culture forward. Black women coaches and executives are not just training athletes, they are training architects. And in that process, they are ensuring that the blueprint of sports leadership will always have their fingerprints on it. Leadership doesn't stop when the buzzer sounds. For Black women in coaching and executive roles, the influence they hold on the sidelines often becomes a launching pad for a broader cultural and business impact. They know that the sport is not just a game. It's an economy, a media ecosystem, and a cultural stage. And their presence in these arenas transform how power is distributed. Now, one of the clearest extensions of leadership is in executive roles and media visibility. Black women who step into front office positions or serve as visible commentators don't just inform the conversation, they shape it. They bring perspectives rooted in lived experience, which reframes narrative around athletes, equity, and representation. That kind of media presence matters because it redefines who gets to be a voice of authority. At the same time, many Black women are turning their coaching platforms into entrepreneurial ventures. From hosting youth clinics to launching training academies, they're monetizing their expertise while reinvesting in their communities. Podcasts, media platforms, and consulting work extend their influence far beyond a single team. These efforts prove that coaching is not a ceiling, it's a gateway to ownership. The rise of NIL opportunities has only amplified this shift. Coaches who mentor athletes in navigating endorsements and branding are themselves stepping into that economy, forming partnerships with apparel companies, wellness brands, and tech platforms. By doing so, they model what it looked like for Black women to leverage cultural capital into economic capital. We've seen this most visibly with leaders like Dawn Staley, whose brand partnership and media presence has elevated her into a cultural icon, not just a coach, but it's also visible in executives who negotiate equity-focused policies or grassroots leaders who build nonprofit organizations around sports and education. These are case studies in turning visibility into sustainable influence. What ties these ventures together is the way they grow culture while growing equity. Every podcast, clinic, or NIL deal is more than a business transaction. It's a cultural intervention. It asserts that Black women are not just part of the conversation, they are driving it. They are proving that leadership in sports can be a pathway to broader economic power and cultural authority. So when we talk about coaching the future, we're also talking about building industry. Black women leaders are not only shaping the next generation of athletes, but also carving out entrepreneurial lanes that expand their influence into media, business, and beyond. They remind us that the court is just the beginning. True leadership extends into every corner of culture. As we close today's conversation, let's pause on what we've uncovered. Black women have always been more than players. They are coaches, executives, mentors, and cultural architects. They build team culture, shape leadership pipelines, disrupt entrenched hierarchies, and expand their influence into business, media, and community power. Leadership isn't an accessory to culture, it is culture. And Black women have been carrying that truth long before the world was ready to acknowledge it. We also can't ignore the challenges. The absence of Black women head coaches in the WNBA today is not just a statistic, it's a warning. Systemic exclusion, bias, and gatekeeping continues to create ceilings that must be shattered. But every AAU program, every grassroots initiative, every entrepreneurial venture led by Black women reminds us that the blueprint is still being drawn, even when institutions try to erase it. So the question we leave you with is this. If Black women are architects of culture, what systems will we create to ensure they're never erased again? That question isn't just for leads, schools, or executives. It's for all of us. Because protecting and uplifting Black women leadership is how we protect the integrity of the game itself. On our next episode of BWISE Polysports Podcast, we're shifting gears from leadership to rhythm. Episode 6 is entitled The Soundtrack of the Game, Music, Media, and Storytelling. The tagline, the game moves to the beat of the culture. We'll dive into how hip-hop, athlete podcasts, and cultural storytelling shape the way we experience sports. Black women are not just participants in this space, they're crafting the soundtrack and controlling the narrative, transforming culture into platforms of power. Until then, we invite you to keep building with us. Don't just be a spectator, become a builder. Join Polysports Nation, connect with our community, and explore advocacy through the Respect Her Game campaign. Because the culture belongs to those who create it. And here at BWISE, we're making sure Black women always have the might, the pen, and the power. Sports are never just about the games we play. They are about the stories we tell, the systems we navigate, and the struggle for justice and equity within them. From youth leagues to the pros, Black women athletes are challenging structures built to silence them while continuing to shine, resist, and lead. So until next time, keep rocking the drip, keep asking the hard questions, and keep building the future we deserve. Here at BWISE Polysports Podcast, we don't just talk the game, we change it. This is Political Lil signing off, where we will continue to break down sport, culture, politics, and power through a lens too often ignored. And always at the center, black women. So until next time, keep rocking the drip, keep asking the hard questions, and keep building the future we deserve. Here at BWISE Polysports Podcast, we don't just talk the game, we change it. This is Political Lil signing off, where we continue to break down sport, culture, politics, and power through the lens too often ignored, and always with black women at the center. Until next time, stay tuned, talk soon, and I'm out.